Hey guys, welcome back to our YouTube channel and another Year 7 science lesson. So this lesson will be on the solar system and all the planets within it. So by the end of this lesson, we should all know the correct model of the solar system, have made and know a mnemonic for the planets in the solar system, and also know the general characteristics of the planets in the solar system. Alright, so let's start off with the structure of the solar system. The original structure of the solar system was known as the geocentric model, and in this model we had the Earth at the center, and geo equals Earth and centric equals center, which is where the name geocentric came from. In this model, like we can see on the image on the right, everything revolves around the Earth. Earth is in the center and everything's orbiting around the Earth. This was a main model of the solar system used in 384 to 322 BCE, and it was firstly described by the Greek philosopher Aristotle. We then came to another model of the solar system. This one is known as the heliocentric model. In this model, we have the sun at the center, and helio means sun and centric equals center, which is where we got the word heliocentric. And this model was firstly suggested by the Greek philosopher known as Aristarchus in 310 to 230 BCE, and it originally was not widely believed because it did not match astronomical observations. This is because in the early days of astronomy, astronomers only had their observations to collect information. And if you think about it from the perspective of the Earth, when you look at the sun and the moon, it looks like the sun and the moon are going around the Earth, which is why the geocentric model was the first model and the most widely believed model at its time. With new discoveries and technology, it has now been decided that the geocentric model is the incorrect model and the heliocentric model is in fact the correct model for the solar system. So a Greek astronomer named Galileo Galilei played an enormous role in astronomy. He invented the first telescope back in the year 1609, and before the telescope was invented, astronomers only had their own eyes to make observations with. So the telescope helped discover craters on the moon, rings of Saturn, the 4 largest moons of Jupiter, and that Venus also went through different phases like the moon. These last 2 points really suggested to Galileo that it wasn't the planets that orbited around the Earth, but rather the Earth and the other planets orbited around the Sun. So other than the invention of the telescope, Galileo is also famous for being known as the father of modern science. This is because he gathered his own information, evidence, and made his own observations. He also relied on the scientific method, technique, and observations, and not simply on the popular way of thinking. This led him to challenge the geocentric model and ultimately support the heliocentric model. So now that we know the correct model of the solar system, let's go through the key components or the planets in it. So firstly, we have the sun. This one's not a planet. It's known as a star. Our first planet is Mercury, second is Venus, third is Earth, the one we live on. Then we have Mars, Jupiter, Saturn, Uranus, and Neptune. That gives us a total of 8 planets. And obviously it's going to be hard just to try and memorize them in order. So we're going to make ourselves a mnemonic. So this is just the technique we often use to help remember some key information. So we have M for Mercury, V for Venus, E for Earth, M for Mars, J for Jupiter, S for Saturn, U for Uranus, and N for Neptune. So we're going to take a couple of minutes to make our own. I've got 2 examples here. First one's my very evil monster just scared us nuts, and our second one is my very educated mother just served us nachos. So just take a few minutes to try and make your own. You'll be required to submit these later, so try and be as creative as you possibly can. Alright, so now we've gone over the key materials of this lesson. On campus you'll find some more learning activities and worksheets to complete. This will be going into more detail of the different planets and its characteristics. So let's quickly flick to the start of this PowerPoint again. By now you should all know the correct model of the solar system, have made and know a mnemonic for the planets in the solar system, and in your next learning tasks and learning materials, you guys will get a deeper understanding of the general characteristics of the planets within the solar system. Now, thanks for watching, and we'll see you in the next lesson.
Boom. 2 + 2 is 4. -1, that's 3. Quick maths.